Man, welcome to Run Pass Option Podcast. It's me again, David, Sack Experts. We got fantasy salesman, Matt. You can always shout us out, fantasy salesman or Sack Experts, or unless you want to go to fantasy analyzers. You know what I mean? That's the entity. And if you have questions, you have start sits, anything going on during your week that you have football related, fantasy football, you want to throw any ringers our way, just we love those sideways trade questions or, deliberating amongst the group chat type of high, passionate, answers that, could go either way. And we're just here to talk a little football. And I think without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead. Wow, Matt's got a little nice little brewski right there. Ooh, Stella. Hey. So we're
Sometimes
gonna
you
have a
need
fun one
one, you know what I
tonight.
mean? Like you just need
Sometimes
one,
you really need one. So
bro.
yeah, guys, we have a couple of things going on today. And first off, I want to kick it off to Matt. Tell him hi real quick.
What's up, guys? A lot of things happen in my life. Getting married, honeymoon's coming up, and I'm mainly looking forward to that.
Big boy shit. Big boy shit.
Yeah, so working hard, put a lot of hours in right now. But I'm ready to kick it, talk some football. See where you're at, David, on football and waivers Thursday night. We're gonna kind of give you guys an overview of what that looks like. What are your thoughts, David?
Absolutely. So Thursday night, I just want to do a couple takeaways and shout out to Golden Gate Fantasy Football for always dropping some real good fun facts. Keep doing what you guys doing. We know we got a couple people. Sodak Fantasy has been contributing some really knowledgeable start sits. We have some really cool guys that have been on the
Colin
podcast, been on
Sutrick, he's doing the
calling.
waivers.
Doing the waivers. We had size 13, please, NFL Owen, a couple other guys that really just contributing to the conversation, and we really
Yeah,
enjoy that. Keep contributing to the conversation, as Matt would like to say. Keep analyzing is the hashtag, baby. Keep
there you go.
analyzing, right, Matt? Shout it out, baby.
Yeah.
Keep analyzing. Say it. Say
Yeah,
it, man.
and we don't
Say
want to
it.
forget about laptop
Keep
Lombardi,
analyzing.
Travis.
Yeah.
He's out of Atlanta. He's been my partner
ATL,
for almost a
Shorty.
year now. So yeah, for sure.
Big, big love. Big, lots of,
David, what I
cool.
guess what are your thoughts as far as like Thursday night? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so
Crazy game.
man, I just want to say, I saw a lot of armchair experts, a lot of draft guys, big on Gardner Minshew coming into the season for good reason. He came out hot as a skillet, and
Yeah.
was on fire first game. He only had one incomplete pass, a couple touchdowns. Second game came out on fire again, couple touchdowns. Keelan Cole had a touchdown in each game. So everyone was suggesting, hey, play Gardner Minshew week 3. We all know how that happened. Very stinker, and
Yeah.
that happens. It happens in fantasy football. You can't hide away from it. So one of my takeaways is that even though Gardner Minshew, mustache guy, is one of our favorites, we also have to be knowledgeable that hey, these guys are human. There's going to be some stinkers. There's going to be some blow up games, and there's a reason why Gardner Minshew isn't Russell Wilson. So be mindful, be understanding, especially in DFS. Hopefully you didn't start him because that probably ruins your whole week. So Gardner Minshew, wham bam, thank you, ma'am, out of here. James Robinson, man. We're coming to find out that he is the reason why they cut Leonard Fournette. And I know he was a darling to a lot of people, but it looks like
A lot of people.
James Robinson. James Robinson is the real deal. It seems like he put up over 100 yards from scrimmage. His targets have been increasing. He had a one target the first game, 4 targets the second game, and he had 6 whole targets the third game. So wow, he's trending in the right direction, especially in PPR, half PPR
Yeah.
leagues. Another takeaway is that
What are your
Chris
thoughts? Let
Con.
me cut you off. What are your thoughts on Gaskin?
Yeah, so that was actually my next point. Man, he had 82% of the RB touches. Wow, that's
Mm.
amazing. And then he had 77% of the snaps. So that just goes to show they're committed to Gaskin. pretty cool because I picked him up in 2 dynasty leagues. I have him in a keeper league, and I got him in a couple redraft leagues. So I was early to the party. I hope everyone else is. This is last
Yeah.
call. Go ahead and get Miles Gaskin because it looks like he's going to be high usage, and it doesn't look like the Dolphins are going to win that many games. So they're not going to really be invested into Jordan Howard or Matt Breida. So get
No,
yourself some
and something I want to
shares.
say is he had 22 carries, 66 yards. Like that's 3 yards per carry. I don't know. I mean, if he gets that usage as a fantasy player, that's what I want. I want the usage. I don't care
Volume.
what yards. I want the goal line carries. I want all of it. But for long-term aspects, Gaskin makes me a little nervous because of that yards per carry number last week.
Yeah, no, I think that's interesting. I think that they really piled it on, especially since they were in the lead, and that just goes to show me that that volume is going to be there. Do you know how many yards he had inside the 5 or attempts inside the 5 he had, Matt?
No. Do you have that? You're gonna flip it on me
Yeah,
right
man.
now?
No, I was just gonna say, man. Jordan Howard only had 3 attempts inside the 5, and Miles Gaskin had 2, and that's kind of where Jordan Howard was his bread and butter. And it looks like
Yeah.
again 2 to 3. You can see that going to a plotter like Jordan Howard is goal line dependent, and once Miles Gaskin
Mm-hmm.
starts getting a couple of those, he's
Yep.
really going to be in a position to shine. So yeah, man,
No, for sure. And
I'm with you.
yeah, Gaskin makes me nervous. Coach, there's some wide receivers. I'm sure you're keeping your eye on as far as that game last night. What are your thoughts?
So my thoughts, definitely Devontae Parker, Preston Williams are probably the main 2 wide receivers coming out of there.
Mm.
In terms of actual targets, I'm a little bit concerned about Gesicki, the tight end, for because he was everyone's darling going into the year, and seems
Yeah,
like he's not getting the usage. What are your thoughts on the Jaguars wide receivers?
it's an interesting freaking team. Like you don't know what to expect. The Jaguars remind me of basically the Dolphins the last 3 or 4 years. It's like some games they're going to come out popping, and Minshew's going to get the ball out. There's going to be a high score involved. Right now, I'm just not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with the Jaguars. They have Cole. They have Minshew's definitely spreading the ball out. Nobody had more, than 6 receptions. That was Robinson out of the backfield. So none of them, Chenault, I think he has some upside that I'm interested in as far as dynasty. Redraft, I've looked into picking him up in a few leagues, but we'll see. But it'll be weird to see how this plays out. Will Jacksonville accept that they're just going to get, they're going to get the one of those top picks and just sit it out this season? That's not really typically what we see from an NFL team. So it's dirty. It's dirty down in
Do you
Jacksonville.
do you have an idea of who you think the number 1 wide receiver will be in Jacksonville for our viewers, for our listeners, for our friends?
It's definitely, I think Chenault, honestly. I think he has, right out of the draft, he has some gifts that they're going to be able to exploit to use to win some games. Minshew and him have to develop some more chemistry to make that happen. You have Chris Conley there, a little bit more experience. He knows what he's doing as well. It's just the bottom of the barrel stuff right now. You're kind of investing for the future if you're looking at that receiving core.
So if you were to, it looks like Matt's going to go on record and say, man, looks like those Jaguar wide receivers, it's, probably run of the mill.
Let's say crapshoot.
You're
Let's
a
just say
crapshoot.
it's a
There you
crapshoot.
go. There you go. He said, take the words right out my mouth. Crapshoot, man. You're
Yeah.
rolling the dice. Anyone you take, a couple that you will, try not to lose faith in Chark. Try not to lose faith in Keelan Cole. I think
Mm.
once they get healthy, someone should shake out of there. But yeah, man, I think we can move right along. And, I have a couple of deep dives, kind of how we were talking about, Miles Gaskin. He's like a deeper dive. And if you're playing, with all these injuries to Christian McCaffrey, to George Kittle, to, you can keep going,
Yeah.
Sutton, Galladay may or may not play. Devontae Adams may not play. It's looking like
Yeah.
Mostert's out. It's looking like there's quite a few players that are just out. So some of my deeper dives, and I like to call it rolling the dice, to say the least. Like if we're talking Vegas, or we're talking Matt, or we're talking crapshoots, I'm gonna go with Deshaun Jackson. I'm gonna
We're
go with
casting
Deshaun
lots right now, bro.
Jackson.
We're casting lots. Like,
Yeah, we are, man. Deshaun
yeah.
Jackson. There's no other wide receivers over there. I know we talked about Greg Ward possibly coming out, making some catches. We
Mm-hmm.
know that Zach Ertz and Godert are going to probably be primary pass catchers over there, but I think Deshaun Jackson can have a nice week.
Yeah.
Pascal in the slot over there for Indiana, with some injuries to everyone's really lover boys, whether that's T.Y. Hilton or Jack Doyle.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of injuries over there. So I think that Pascal coming in the slot, filling that role, is going to make
Zach.
a couple. Yeah, and for rolling the dice deep dive, baby, Pascal.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. I mean,
I'm going to go Daryl Henderson for running back. So
I
considering
got something to say
Acre,
about that. I was
sure,
a
go for
Cam
it.
Akers guy. I drafted Cam Akers. Um, Not anymore. Malcolm Brown, Daryl Henderson. Daryl Henderson led them in carries and in yardage last week. I really think, and we were expecting this last season, will he take that job? Will he be the guy for us as fantasy players in LA? He could be. I spent out of $100 my fab money, I spent $65 to secure him.
Ooh, 65.
65. And
And
I
my
do
man is
that because
frugal.
the
He's
first two,
frugal.
three, yeah. So the first 2, 3 weeks, you're gonna see these guys, and the coaches are gonna really like what they see.
Culture,
And you could
culture. We're talking whatever you want to talk.
cultures, bacteria, whatever you want to call it. Daryl Henderson has the stuff, and we've been waiting for it to flourish. So I'm really excited, to have him on my bench. I dropped Cam Akers for him because I just feel like yeah,
Spicy.
so a little spicy, but that's what's going to take to win in a season that's tainted by COVID and all these injuries.
I like
That's
it.
my
I like it. Sometimes you just gotta take a swing and see what happens. And Daryl Henderson, again, I picked him up in a couple of leagues. I actually
good.
just paid $27 for him, and I got him, so I was really happy about that. And I scooped him up in a couple other leagues where I had a priority
Mm,
waiver. So I wasn't afraid, kind of like you, to go ahead and take a swing at him. And I hope that
yeah,
we hit it out the park, buddy, because that's the one
yeah.
guy that we definitely.
On this bench alone, I have Fournette, I got Henderson, and I got Madison. And it looks like I'm in some talks. We'll see. I may be able to get Devonta Freeman, and another guy, another running back that can, produce for me. I have one guy, like one wide receiver on my bench because I can go
Wow.
out and get Chenault. I can go out and get, whoever here. I can look at it right now. Like
Breaking
there's these
news for
guys.
me.
Go ahead.
I just got a trade request,
Oh,
and
okay.
wow, I'm kind of excited about this one.
You're
This
intrigued.
one is going to be a trade request, and this is in a Yahoo league, and I wonder if you guys could see this.
Get closer. Bell. No, it's blurry, bro. Montgomery's
Uh,
involved. AJ Brown. I
yeah.
don't know.
So they offered me Bell and AJ Brown for David Montgomery. Keep in mind, I have Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, Chris Carson, and Antonio Gibson already. My wide
Okay.
receivers are Odell and Robert Woods.
Mm,
So
okay.
AJ
That could
Brown would be
work.
the depth at wide
Yeah,
receiver, and
that's
I
not a
probably
slam accept, but it's definitely a consider. Probably accept. I don't know. Depends on what you think of Montgomery. Honestly.
well, I'm high on Montgomery. I have him in a lot of leagues, but the reason why I'd consider is because because I wouldn't start Montgomery over Chris Carson. I wouldn't start Montgomery over Joe Mixon, and I wouldn't start Montgomery over Josh Jacobs, of course.
Yeah.
So, and I only have two wide receivers Odell and Robert Woods, Bob Woods, as I like to say.
Oh,
So AJ Brown would be the depth at wide receiver that I need.
for sure.
So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, kind of bumping off into our, third and somewhat final segment. Who are some guys you have your eyes on, this week as far as starts?
yeah, man. And so yeah, kind of like I was mentioning. So for my deep dive, I mentioned a couple of
Okay.
those players
Oh,
and
I
Big
was
Ben.
thinking you
Big
were thinking waivers, like that's where you're going with
Yeah,
everything.
no, 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 no. Yeah, deep dive waivers, deep dive,
Start sets,
starts,
whatever that looks like.
and these are like, you got to think, there's 12 to 16 team leagues. A lot of these marquee players are down.
Yeah.
These are guys you can plug in maybe in a flex, deep dive.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Rolling the dice.
Yeah.
And so, but my starts kind of like what you said. I feel like you can't miss this week in the game of the week. We got Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. The game of the week, the game of the
Yeah,
year so
maybe of
far.
the first, 6 weeks.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I completely agree with you, brother. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson. I got DeAndre Hopkins as a must start against Detroit. He's going to do his thing. Kyler Murray and him have a great connection. I have Allen Robinson breaking out against the Atlanta
Okay.
Falcons. I have Cooper Kupp finally scoring a touchdown, maybe two. I have Derrick Henry going over 100 yards and a touchdown, maybe two.
Oh,
I have
interesting.
Kenyon Drake, who has been
Drake?
abysmal. I have the Cardinal known as Drake doing some numbers this week. I think he gets about 4 or 5 catches, 60 yards, and 80 to 100 rushing yards, and maybe a TD. So I think it'll be fun to have him this week. I also have Mark Andrews, that connection with him and Lamar Jackson, doing its thing, touchdown, 80 plus yards, and in the marquee game against the Kansas City
Yeah,
Chiefs. They're gonna have to score some points, and that's
of
gonna go
course.
through Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson.
So I
So
think this week the Saints have a lot to prove
sure.
because of last week and how they stink up the whole week. They're going up against the Green Bay Packers, and you know my feelings on the Green Bay Packers. Allen Lazard is a weapon that we've seen kind of explode. And this week, it wouldn't shock me if this is one of the weeks that, he breaks off a long one or he gets a couple end zone targets, from Aaron Rodgers. So I'm expecting him to have a good week. I would put him in flex easy. I would consider putting him at a wide receiver too, especially in this league where I have 6 running backs and I only play 2 of them. So, if I need to, I'm literally looking at my waiver wires in my home league just to see which guys I would consider, starting. This is a 10-man league, so there's like TJ Hawkinson is there. Start him whenever you can. Miles Gaskin, he already played, so that's not really an option, but he's there as well. So there's a lot of guys, especially in a 10-man league, 12-man league. There's still going to be probably about 4 or 5 guys that you can put in your flex this week. You're with the injuries, this is how you got to think. Every week, I need to be able to stream one. So every week in this season where there's going to be a ton of injuries because of I keep messing up the word injuries. I don't know what. Energy. Maybe I'm starving for energy. So
Energy. One
energy.
more beer,
I'm just going to
bro, and you
say,
might be on the
I'm just going
ground.
to talk like this. Like, you need to keep your eyes on waivers every day if you can. I don't have much time. David doesn't have much time, but
Wednesdays
we
and
like
Fridays,
looking at the
especially.
options. We want to make sure that our teams are set. That's just peace of mind for us personally. So look at your waivers. There's going to be some guys there, some options to start that may have some upside that you need to get the win. Do it every day as much as possible. Maybe not every day, but if you're like us and we're kind of obsessed, that's what you got to do. If you want to win your league, pay attention to waivers, pay attention to those offers. Sometimes you could turn a crappy offer into a counter that works out really well for you as well. So those
Listen to
are
this
some kind of
man.
basic.
He's preaching. He's preaching, man. You guys got to listen to this
These are,
guy. He knows what
these are
he's talking
basic
about.
foundational things that you need to know, as a fantasy player, that you got to keep your mind on when you're, getting up in the morning and you're like, I might as well look at my teams. Let's see what's up. Or, I'll text one of my league mates, whatever it looks like. Just keep your mind open. There's going to be opportunity out there to turn around your CMC injury or Saquon injury or whatever that looks like.
So
That's
there
all
it
I got to
is.
say
Have
about
faith.
that.
Have faith. Scour the waiver. Scour the waiver like an eagle with an
Mm.
eagle eye. Oh, so yeah, guys. Another fun week. We just really wanted to come at you with a couple things. We got Matt really enjoying life right now. Send out your positive vibrations to him. And he's
Appreciate it.
he's gonna be getting married soon, so it's a special time, guys. I know as much as we like to talk football, we care about him as a human being, and we really just want
Appreciate it.
to keep that energy going with the whole community. So we care about all of you. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for tuning
Yeah.
in. We really appreciate you. We noticed that people have been subscribing, people have been listening, and it's a fun. We're growing
It's a fun.
a
It is a
it's a
fun. This is
it's
like
a
a
fun
fun for our
thing.
week.
It's a fun thing.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
man. It's
I love you all.
uh,
Thank you for listening and supporting us. Catch us at fantasyanalyzers.com. Peace.